This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. 2 in a row, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks defeat the Sacramento Kings tonight, 131-115. The Knicks were down 20 points in the first half, 15 at halftime, and they came back to win this basketball game. A tale of two halves, except this time the Knicks were on the winning end of that tale. Very good win by the New York Knicks. Julius Randle, 46 points. RJ Barrett, 29 points. There's been a question out there. Why can't Julius Randle and RJ Barrett play well together on the same night? They did it tonight. And this is what it can look like when these two guys play very well together. The Knicks run away with this game in the second half behind the power of Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, ladies and gentlemen. And RJ Barrett. And I can't forget about Immanuel Quickley, because Immanuel Quickley has been playing good basketball. Hey, 14 more wins to go, ladies and gentlemen. 14 more wins to go. You guys laughed at me and Tony when we was talking about could we go 15-3. You know, we had all kind of optimism after last night. Now we got more optimism after tonight. You dig what I'm saying? 14 more. That's what I'm talking about. I got my man Tony in the building. You know, we're going to go ahead and get this one in. Talk about this game here, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm excited for the win. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for the win. I love it. Tony, what's popping with you, man? I know you got to be excited for the win.
What's good, son? You see the smile on my face?
Yeah.
Man? Shout out to the chat. Real Black is time. Oh, man. Get healthy, Mitch. Get healthy, Cam. But, yeah, good win tonight, boy. Good win tonight. And it's funny because I was watching a couple of chats out there at halftime or whatever, and you know, Randle was getting flamed, and he ends the game with a career high. And you know what? I see some people out here. They still want to flame him. But some of them are giving him his props.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean,
I see B-Baller for real. He goes, Randle with flames. He still got to go basically.
you know that's how it's gonna be, right? You know, they can't help but to admit he had a good game tonight. I mean, you gotta admit that, but then of course they're gonna be like, but you know, still, it's just one game. You got to go. Anyway, regardless, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let that ruin my morning. It's not even night, my morning. I ain't going to let it ruin my morning. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the box score, ladies and gentlemen, you know most of it, but I'm going to read it to you anyway, just so I can get on your nerves for those who don't want to hear that Julius Randle scored 46 points. You know, so I'm going to troll you. 46 points from Julius Randle, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. And dig this, only 1 turnover tonight for Julius Randle. Only 1 turnover. He was 58% from the field. He was 50% from the three-point line. By far his best shooting night of the season for Julius Randle. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, Julius Randle took 14 shots in the first quarter because the Knicks, nobody was scoring the basketball and they were getting blitzed in that first quarter. He took 14 shots. All right, he ended up taking 17 more shots for the game for a total of 31 shots on the night. But, man, in that second half, Julius Randle was just, he was on fire. You know what I mean?
And was more than half of them threes? Or was 15 threes?
He took 16 three-point attempts.
16 threes.
16 three-point attempts. Yeah. Yep. More than half. Definitely more than half. You know, he only got to the line twice. Well, one time, and, took 2 attempts. But, yeah, big night. But, let's not forget about R.J. Barrett on the night either, though. You know what I'm saying? Because R.J. Barrett, he shot 52.4% from the field. He shot 50% from the free throw line. From the 3-point line. And he shot 100%, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds. He also has 6 assists.
Clutch moments, too.
Clutch moments. You know what I'm saying? It was like when nobody was scoring, Randle was able to score. Mm-hmm. And then when Randle, maybe hit a spot while he wasn't scoring, RJ was able to score. And then Emmanuel Quickley, he had 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, 7 for 10 from the field, 60% from the 3-point line, 90%, 10 for 11 from the free throw line. He stepped in and did his business. And even Evan Fournier had 15 points. You know what I mean? Really good game from the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Just a feel-good one. You know what I mean? And the Knicks needed a couple of these feel-good basketball games. So they beat the Clippers. They beat the Sacramento Kings. All right, now they're on their way to Dallas, and we'll see what they can do against the Dallas Mavericks. For the Sacramento Kings, they were led by De'Aaron Fox. He had 24 points on the night. All right, 24 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Harrison Barnes, he had 23 points. Domantas Sabonis, 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was ejected from the basketball game for bumping a referee.
I got some takes tonight, Sam.
Sound similar? Sound familiar?
Very.
Dante DiVincenzo, 13 points. Davion Mitchell, 10 points on the night. Trey Lyles, 6 points, 4 rebounds. But the New York Knicks, they do it tonight, man. They do it tonight. Big win for the Knicks. Tony, let's start off, clearly. Let's talk about Julius Randle. You know what I mean? How much did Julius Randle need to have a game like this?
The best game of the season. He absolutely needed it. Needed it, and more importantly, needed it in a win. So, I'll take it in any fashion, take the win in any fashion, shape, or form. You know what I mean? I think another thing he's going to need, like just as another confidence builder, is a win, a good game, and a close game. You know what I mean? Like, because he played good down the stretch, but, it was kind of out of reach. You know what I mean? Like, or he kept it out of reach. I want to see a pressure situation now, and do that too. I'll take blowouts all day, but you know what I mean. Just for a confidence builder, this was good. The next step is do it under pressure, a more pressure situation.
Yeah.
But overall, just keep up the good play. I don't need 40, 46 every night. Obviously, I want efficiency. I want quick decisions, and I love the fact that when we need you to take over, you did.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And even down the stretch of the game, I don't know if there was a stretch of the game, but the last 2 minutes, he had 46 points, and it looked like, all right, Randle's probably going to chuck up some shots to try to get 50. He didn't, right? He still got the ball in transition and passed the ball ahead. Where how many people would have blamed him if he said, you know what, it's 2 minutes left. We're up by 18, 19 points. I'm trying to get my 50. No, he got the ball. He passed the ball ahead, even if it didn't come back to him. You know what I mean? I think kudos for that. Although I wanted him to go and try to get 50. You know what I'm saying? And the Sacramento Kings, they were like, nah, that's not happening. You're not getting 50 tonight. During those last 2 or 3 minutes, they started to throw a double team at Julius Randle so that he couldn't get that 50 burger. You know what I mean? But anyway, Julius Randle, 46 points on the night. Really good basketball game. R.J. Barrett, though. he continues to do what he's doing. He's been playing great for a while. Really playing good basketball. I think he's going to continue to play this kind of basketball. Right? I hope that he continues to play this kind of basketball. What you see from RJ tonight, Tone?
Again, but you nailed it again, man. I mean, he's been on this stretch, 20 plus points, 20 points at least for a couple, for a long stretch now. This is the best basketball of his career. It's great to see this. Like, again, I'm trying to keep my enthusiasm and excitement to a level point, but it's definitely encouraging for the long term. You know what I mean? Because I think, like you said, he's reached a stretch where he's not looking back. You know what I mean? There's no regression. He has a legit shot if he keeps up his play to bring his point total up to 20 for the season. And that's an accomplishment in itself.
Oh, I think he definitely will. If he continues to, score, 23, 24, 25 points, he'll get that point total up to, he can get that point total up to 20. I think he's about 18.9 right now, somewhere around there, probably more after tonight. So I think he can get that point total up, to 20 points per game. Well, what about the tandem, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett? There's always questions about if they can play together, if they can play well on the same night. You still don't see a lot of them two like playing off of each other, but every once in a while they get a chance to play off of each other. You'll see Julius Randle hand the ball off to RJ Barrett on the right side of the floor so that he can go left, right? And that's big because when he hands that ball off, Julius Randle's body normally bumps RJ's defender just enough so that RJ can turn the corner. Get that little bit of a step so he can turn the corner, and then he gets to the cup with his left hand. So in little ways like that, they do work together.
And part of it, I think, is RJ has reached a point where now he's showing a large arsenal, right? Like he has more tricks in his bag. Where I think last year and maybe even earlier in the season, but more so last year, he needed to get his shots in certain spots. He needed to be in certain places to kind of be at his best position and to get a basket. Now he's showing that he can create from on his own, pull up shots, things of that nature. That makes it a lot easier for them to work off of each other. So I think the more RJ progresses and the more Randle kind of regains his form or his where he was last year.
Yeah,
I think they will play off each, because I think they kind of played off each other more last year than this year, if you want to be honest. But that was later in the season.
Right. I know your answer to this question. But after looking at a performance like this, does it make you say, I really want to see another year of RJ and Julius Randle together to see how much more they can gel, to see how much more chemistry they can build together? You know what I'm saying? To see if we can continue to get nights, not nights like this, right? You're not going to get a night where Julius Randle's dropping 46 and RJ's dropping almost 30. It's not going to happen every single night. But can we get nights where both of them are at 24 and 25, 23 and 22, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 assists? Can we get both of these players having these type of nights on a consistent basis? And what does the team look like then when both of these guys are playing at that level on a consistent basis? Because last year, Randle was at that level, but RJ wasn't. Right? He was, there were times when he would play good, then, for a lot of time he would be inconsistent. You know what I mean? Now RJ's being more consistent and Randle's being inconsistent. What happens if they're both consistent?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And do you try to let them both become consistent together. You know what I'm saying? Spree, last night, one of the first things you put in the chat, trade Randle. I seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I seen it. You still feel that way after tonight?
He always pulls me back in, man. Just when I'm about done.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
glad you called him out, though, so.
Hey, you can call me. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I own it. I own it because I'm an emotional guy, man. I go off of what I see.
Yeah.
But I will say this to one thing you told me, and yeah, we don't have that Batman yet, but one thing I will say that you are right about, and I do get emotional, so people that in the chat, they can call me a clown. I'm cool with it. One thing I'll say that you were right about, and you saw it tonight a little bit, is when he has IQ, McBride, and RJ on the floor. I'm not saying all three of those guys are great facilitators, but all three of them can at least catch the ball, not turn it over immediately, and can dribble and set Randle up at least in good spots a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that lineup. I think we closed with it with RJ, McBride, and IQ. IQ was bringing the ball up. IQ was being a little bit of a point guard. I'm not saying he's a point guard, but he was putting Randle in position. RJ was occasionally getting it, finding IQ in the corner because they had to double team the play where he can get to his left hand. And McBride, if you pass McBride the ball, he can dribble. Like, he's not like scared to dribble and drive.
Right.
He had a nice pass, by the way, to RJ for an alley-oop dunk.
He did.
So
he did.
I like that lineup. What did you think of that lineup?
I did. I like the lineup as well because you get, good defense at the point of attack. Obviously Julius Randle was scoring tonight, but, you get a guy that can score inside and outside, Emmanuel Quickley, who can penetrate from the point of attack, right? He could penetrate from the point of attack, which opens the floor up for Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? So and then of course you got RJ, another guy that could score inside, outside, get to the cup, and help rebound the ball, play some bully ball, etc. It's a nice lineup with some good balance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I like McBride. McBride had a possession on defense where he literally took one hand. I think it was on Harrison Barnes, the jump ball play.
Mm-hmm.
That was impressive. That he was able to snatch that ball and get a jump ball like out of position with one hand, and then he put two hands on it, of a guy driving to the basket. He had another play that I think he forced to turn over and threw it out diving on the floor. McBride has to play. I don't know what he is yet, but all I know is he plays defense, and you don't look at the box score with him. You know that, Sim, as a coach.
Right.
Do not look at the box score with McBride.
Right. And that's the truth. You know what I mean? You don't look at the box score. You look at the other things that he can do on the floor. Let me ask you this, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. And I'm not trying to say anything against McBride. How come it wasn't the same thing for Frank? When, it was like, you don't look at the box score. You look at his defense. You look at some of the little things that he can do. The fan base wasn't having that for Frank, a good portion of the fan base. Is it because of the draft position, or is it because you feel confident that McBride can put the ball on the floor and can shoot it from three when he gets the opportunity, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair question. I think the only thing that I think that you just said at the end there is I think he is a little bit more confident than Frank in being able to shoot and get off the dribble. I'm not saying he's fully confident yet because I'm not going to lie to the American public on the show. But Frank was nervous, like in those spots. But I think Frank could have developed into that. I think Frank deserved more of an opportunity. I've always said that.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. Let me just say this on Randle because I've been hard on him. I've had a love-hate thing. One thing I'll say about Randle is the more he does not, and he even said it did you listen to him in the post game with Breen? He said it. He said, I didn't have to think. And again, Carmelo didn't have to think with Jason Kidd, Pablo Prigioni, Novak. You don't have to think when you're the dude and you're bigger and stronger than everybody and you just play. And this is what you were telling me yesterday, which is why you wanted me to calm down. The game becomes much easier, and he could just focus on what he can do, where he doesn't have to set the whole team up every play and do everything. He didn't have to think. Carmelo didn't have to think that much. Carmelo could just be the baddest dude on the planet because he had Jason Kidd who would set up, Pablo. I'm just saying I really like that lineup at the end of the game, Sim. I'm happy for Julius. I know people think I hate him. I do not, but I get frustrated with him. But he played great tonight, and he also played hard on defense, and he ran the floor well. He did all the things that I asked him to do. And who knows, maybe he goes off in Dallas and we celebrate in 2 days.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, the thing is, he has to, because he was playing some defense. I mean, did you see that he was playing the way he was playing against Domantas Sabonis on that one possession, and then he had the nerve to get mad because they called him for a foul. I was like, come on, man. Like, you were all over him, bumping him. I love the defense, but it was definitely a foul. But he can't do that only when he's hitting his shots, though.
Yeah.
Right?
He got excited, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam, I didn't even hate the foul. He got excited.
He got
That's
excited.
Football, when you're at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but you can't do that only when your shots are falling. You have to be like that every night, even when your shots are not falling. You know what I mean? You got to do it. You're not going to play like that, like he did against Domantas Sabonis. I mean, but you're seeing him coming up trying to block shots, and he was like that from the beginning of the game, though, right? He had the nice chase down block from the beginning of the game. He had that kind of energy from the beginning, but he's got to do it every night, not just when he's making shots.
Sure, I agree. And also in transition, the one where he got all the way to the lane for the layup over Sabonis. And also, I agree. A lot of his game is like, you can't just focus on the shot, but when his three does fall, it does open up everything. We saw it all last year, but he did a good job. And maybe this is just me. Not. I need to see it again. Maybe I'm making this up. But Sim, I thought when he shot the jumper today, I felt like he was in good position. He wasn't off balance as much. Maybe the Kings are a bad defensive team, but in my opinion, Randle got to his spots, and he had good lift on the jumper, and it looked cleaner. Am I just making that up, or do you agree with that?
I agree with you. I think one of the things that he said in the post-game press conference is, I didn't second guess myself. If it was open, I just took it. Whether or not, if I'm making them, I'm making them. If I'm missing them, I'm missing them. He said, but I didn't second guess myself and say, hey, let me try to get a better shot. It was open, so I took it. So I think you saw him catching the ball on his toes, just ready to let it go without saying, is there a better shot for me? You know what I mean? And, that's what you were saying when, talking about playing without thinking. And you've seen it from him all season. And I think that comes from him just listening to everybody instead of just his own intuition, I guess, trying to find a better shot, indecisive about should he shoot it, should he pass it, or whatever. Tonight, obviously, he was just like, I'm letting the ball go no matter what happens.
I will say that this proves to me, at least watching these last few games, Sam, I'll leave you with this. This proves to me, though, that, like, he is very more – it's best when others are setting up the offense and he can just focus on the scoring part and get in rhythm. Basketball is an easier game for him when he's doing that. And I will just make this one last comment. I think what was my last comment? IQ impressed me tonight.
Yeah.
IQ really impressed me tonight.
He's been
getting
impressive
to the basket, Sim.
He's been impressive the last couple of games.
All the way.
Even
I'm
before,
a little nervous on
Even before the Clippers,
Cam got
though.
hurt though, but
yeah, I mean, but even before the Clippers, he was impressive with the way that he was, not just getting to the rack, but also spraying it out, finding open shooters. Yeah.
There was a couple of times where he split the defense, and I've never seen IQ actually fully get to the cup. He would always float it. I feel like the last two games, I feel like he split it and went all the way. Maybe the Kings just are absolutely terrible on D, and I shouldn't give them credit. I'll watch it again.
I mean,
I actually thought IQ was trying to get to the rim.
Yeah, I think those are some things that he's worked on. You know what I mean? Getting to the rim, a pull-up jump shot, things like that. Spree, Tony wants to ask you a question before you get out of here, though.
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, it's more of a comment, but let me. You said the difference between Frank and Deuce. I think one of the clear differences is not only did they see him in practice, but they get to see him, in a different role in the G League, and whether it was Frank or them not putting Frank in the G League, I think that would have benefited Frank long term, because I don't think he played a single game in his whole 3-4 years, however long he was here. And since Sim called you out on the Julius Randle thing, I'm gonna call myself out and admit, I was saying I didn't see Deuce McBride's effect on the game last game, even though I did acknowledge he was plus 20 something points, second highest on the team. Tonight I seen it, and I seen it on the floor. You know what I mean? The effect of his defense, which kind of kept him in the game. You made some great points about things you saw. The one play when he fell and actually tapped the ball out to Randle for a fast break. Mm-hmm. That was one you missed. I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, Deuce is definitely intriguing me after tonight. And Sim, if I'm interested in the plus minus tonight, if you have that.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yes, and the chat loves you, man. They were saying they love your take. So
I react.
We're not clowning
on that night, man. I'm an emotional fan.
We all have.
I hope Cam's okay, man.
Oh.
I hope Cam is okay because he did the right thing getting back to fight on that play. That just shows the type of player Cam is, to lay his body out. I just hope he's okay because it looked really bad. But Tony, Sim, you guys are like family to me. I'm going to stick with Randle, even though I get emotional. He's our guy. Regardless, I got to ride with him. We got to find a way to help him. And I get mad at my family, man. Sometimes I get mad, but he's one of us.
I hear you.
You have a good night.
All right, Spree. No doubt about it. Check this, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks. And I'm going to get to a couple of super chats. The Knicks scored 83 points in the second half. And that's the most in franchise history since 1969. Since 1969, 83 points in the second half for the New York Knicks. A tale of two halves for the Knicks, and this time they came out on the right side of it. They came out on the winning side. You know what I mean?
And would they give up 50,
big.
Right? 15 and 35? Was it?
Let me see what they gave up what did they give up in the second half?
Yeah.
In the second half, they gave up 52. So they outscored the Sacramento Kings by 31 points in the second half. Yep, scored 83 points in the second half. Julius Randle scored 33 points by himself in the second half. Yeah, it's a beautiful game, man. Beautiful game from the New York Knicks. Let me get to a couple of super chats. Right? Andrew Nash, he said, what a great comeback. Wow, I'm digging our Mitch and Sims tandem. But we need to keep my man Taj as a security blanket going forward. Then, of course, he screams out Julius Randle. Yeah, man. Taj Gibson came up big tonight when Sims and Mitchell Robinson were in foul trouble. Mitchell Robinson, hopefully he's feeling better. He left the game with an illness. He only played 1 minute and 40 seconds. I seen somebody, throw a little jab at Mitchell Robinson saying that,
Sabonis
was killing him or whatever. He did for 1 minute and 40 seconds. No doubt about it. He killed him for 1 minute and 40 seconds. But we didn't get to see what else Mitchell Robinson might have done tonight. You know what I'm saying? But, Sabonis was cooking in that first. He was cooking in that first quarter. Right off the tip, it was like, yo, what's happening? What's going on? And then he did the same thing to Sims when he came in the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Part of that is we were talking about it in the game preview, right? Mm-hmm. About, matching up against Sabonis. You know what I mean? Sabonis being, a power forward. He's a little bit more mobile than those guys, especially Mitchell Robinson. He's closer to the ground. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tougher matchup. You know what I mean? And he came out and he was cooking. He was cooking. Let me get to this other super chat, Tony, real quick. Kareem Jones, he said, great team comeback. Great performance from everyone, but shout out to Deuce, Taj, and Sims for just playing really hard. Doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but will contribute to wins. Exactly. You know what I mean? That's it right there. It'll contribute to wins when you got guys that's going to go out there and play hard. And you know what else it does? It frees up guys like R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, who, you know, when they have to carry the scoring load, you know what I mean? And you got guys like that can go out there and bang and dive on the floor and get these, you know, get deflections and take care of the hustle plays for you. It frees up some of the energy for those guys. You know what I mean? When you got guys out there that can make the hustle plays for you. Not that we don't want them to make the hustle plays, but they also got to score the basketball. You know what I mean? You know, so, you know, from time to time, they're not going to hustle. You know, like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the truth of the matter. From time to time, these guys ain't going to hustle. You know, just is what it is. Looking at the team comparison right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks win the game, of course, 131-115. Big win from the New York Knicks. They win the rebounding battle, 47-40. There we go. Get that back over there for you. They win the rebounding battle, 47-40. Funny thing, the Knicks only had 19 assists, but I guess because Julius Randle was so hot, you know, he was going one-on-one a lot of the times, and so was R.J. Barrett, so there weren't that many assists to go around.
And they probably let us, right? I know R.J. had 6.
R.J. had like 6 assists. Julius Randle only had 2 assists tonight. Sacramento Kings, they had 23 assists on the night. 7 steals for the Knicks, 4 for the Kings. 6 blocks for the Knicks, 2 for the Kings. The Knicks only had 8 turnovers on the night. All right, 11 for the Sacramento Kings. The Knicks shot 51.1% from the field and 42.9% from 3. The Kings, they shot 48.8% from the field and 34.4% from 3. The Knicks were 82.6% from the free throw line tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That's like a breath of fresh air. They need 82.6% from the free throw line. That's all I'm going to say. And the Kings, 72.2%. The Knicks win the battle of the paint, 54-50. Kings win the second chance points, 8-6. You figure that might happen without Mitchell Robinson there for the game. But the Knicks win the fast break points, 24-15. It's tail of the tape right there, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, you were about to say something a little bit earlier.
Two things. I think Sabonis, being that him and Randle seem to have battled, you know what I mean, for about 2 years now, in their matchups in Indiana, I think this was like a switch for him. You know what I mean? Like he, not saying Mitchell never guarded him, but when he did, it was on a switch. You know what I mean? So his eyes probably lit up like, oh, I don't gotta go against Randle because I think they play each other well. So yeah, and you know, I'm gonna call somebody out, friendly thing, but it's David L. He's the one because he said it again. You know, Mitch got destroyed by Sabonis. Dude, like he only played a minute. Like he didn't even play 2 minutes. I think.
Minute and 40 seconds for Mitchell Robinson. But okay, let's talk about that though, because in the beginning of the game, you know, it was clear that Mitch was having a hard time staying in front of Sabonis. Sabonis was able to go off the dribble. And then Mitch missed a couple of rotations, right? That allowed Sabonis to get free. So from that minute and 40 seconds, and then he got 2 fouls, right? And had to go out the game early. Do you take anything from that minute and 40 seconds? Do you take from that Mitchell Robinson will have a hard time guarding centers that can be mobile, like DeMontes, like Sabonis, that can go off the dribble?
I think Sabonis in particular, it's a mismatch for for Mitch, but I'm confident that he would have figured it out. You know what I mean? Had he come back. It was bad though, bad for us. You know what I mean? To get in 2 fouls that quick, but not for nothing. Like you said, Sims, he did the same thing as Sims, and it took Taj to come in and kind of change that completely. And that's what I wanted to say. That, you know, I just wanted to give Taj his flowers for real. And you know what I mean? Like, he was outstanding tonight. I think Julius Randle player of the game, but the game ball got to go to Taj because phenomenal. And he is a perfect example for these young guys as far as what Tibbs want, what Tibbs expects. You talk about a guy who was literally out of the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
We was running with the young bigs.
Mm-hmm.
People were excited about it. He was waiting his turn, staying ready, not complaining, coming in, getting his opportunity, performing. Like, if that's not what Tibbs wants from everybody on the team, young to old, you know what I mean? I think he's the perfect role model for these bigs. And the funny thing is, I think Tibbs' performance is going to make it a lot difficult for Tibbs to strictly rock with Mitch and Sims moving forward. If one of them is looking a little funny in the light on a certain night, you know what I mean? He's going to jump to Tibbs a lot sooner than you know what I mean, today. Today was because of circumstance, foul trouble. I think next time it's going to be, it could be potentially earlier because of performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there.
Now, I mean, but do you think? I think it only happens if the Knicks continue to win ball games and they start to put pressure on that 10th seed. Then I think he does that. If the Knicks, you know, say from here lose 4 in a row, then I think maybe he sticks. Just says, you know, I'm just rocking with this team.
Don't.
I know. I don't. Yeah, we won't put that out in the air.
We got Dallas next. Is one game at a time.
One game at a time. Okay, I got you. We don't want to put. We ain't trying to throw that out there in the air. We're still looking at that 5-1 3 times.
But to my point, in the next game per se, what I'm saying is the leash on Sims might be a little bit shorter. I'll say that. I'm not going to say he's going to go to Taj first, but now we might not get, and that's going to be based off the score in that individual game. But not for nothing, Taj changed the outcome of the game. We was losing and we were playing bad before he came in. So I'm interested in his plus minus as well. To be honest, he might have led us tonight.
Yes. Let's look at that really quick. The plus minuses, because I think Alec Burks led us in plus minus.
That's interesting.
I think he did. You know, that's why the plus minus to me is
it's a funny stat, right?
Yeah, because Alec Burks led us in plus minus with a plus 24.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, what did McBride and
McBride had a plus 8.
Oh wow.
And Taj Gibson was a plus 16.
Okay.
Julius Randle a plus 18. RJ Barrett a plus 23.
Nice.
Yeah.
For whatever it means. Like I said, I never know. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, that's why I'm just always a little shaky with it, because it all depends on the lineup that you're with. You know what I mean? Like, you could be playing a terrible basketball game, but your lineup is playing well. The group that you're with is playing well, and then you get a positive plus minus.
The one thing I do take from it though, I don't know how horrible of a game you can be playing, because, or let's say this, even if you're playing a horrible game and your plus minus is up there, I think that means you didn't affect the game negatively. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Does that make sense? And again, I'm not basing it off of anything that I understand about analytics. I'm trying to look at it logically from the outside. So I could be wrong, but I would think you at least didn't affect the game negatively. So
Right.
you might not have had turnovers. You might have just been shooting bad. But
That's
maybe
true.
all
I
your
mean,
misses got offensive rebounds
right.
on. So it ended up being you know what I mean?
I mean,
A score or thing
yeah,
of that
that's
possession.
true. I mean, but like for example, you could be out there and have 3 turnovers, and those turnovers just don't produce points for the other team,
Points, yeah, that's true.
and you guys keep a lead or extend the lead or outscore
That's
the
true.
other team. For me, the only way it really means something to me is like, let's say the entire team is in the plus, or everyone on the team is in the plus, but you're in the minus.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then that means a little something to
Outlier.
me. Yeah. The outliers to me signify a little bit more about that player. When there's an outlier. Let's talk about IQ though, man. Some more. Talked about it a little bit with Spree. Let's talk about him some more because for most of the season, IQ was not playing well. He looked a little bit confused about what exactly he should be doing out there on the floor. His shot wasn't falling. He didn't look like he was comfortable in the lineup. So my question to you, is he more comfortable because the Knicks are very thin and he knows he's not going to get pulled off the floor? Because like when you look at last season, he knew he was getting minutes. He was going to be out there. The Knicks didn't have anybody else. This season, they were supposed to have other people, so maybe he was a little bit tentative in some games. Now, you got to have him out there on the floor. You just got to let him play his basketball game. And then also, maybe he's a little bit more comfortable doing some of the things that, maybe he worked on during the offseason, like getting all the way to the basket without always shooting that floater. Right? Remember, there was a rule change, and it affected players like Emmanuel Quickley. What is it for you that why is he playing better right now?
I mean, I knew eventually the shot would come around.
Mm-hmm.
I think all along while the shot wasn't there, we've seen probably the most individual development of a player based off what they did last year. Like RJ's development has been great, but we saw flashes of that last year. What we didn't see from Quickley last year was defense the way we've seen it this year, playmaking for others like we've seen it this year. So I think as much as we say he's not a point guard, I think it's benefited him in the aspect of he was doing good in those two areas in that position, and his bread and butter, his scoring, wasn't. But once it comes all together, now it's looking. He's looking like a complete player. You know what I mean? Like he's putting it all together. As far as why, I think it's just time. Time more than anything. If it didn't happen this year, I thought ultimately when he got back to his shooting guard position, where I think he's suited best, I thought he would be a overall better player from his experience at running the point. But I mean, playing like this tonight, I mean, he's making a case that he could play the point full time, whether it be backup or maybe improving a little bit more and becoming a starter. So it's great to see.
Hector Gaston said his role is more defined right now.
And that's basically what you were saying, especially with the thinner lineup.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. His role is probably a little bit more defined. He knows exactly what he needs to do while he's out there on the floor. And maybe earlier in the season, but that unit was the same. Right? That was the same unit that he played with last year. So it's hard to say. Who knows? You know what I mean? But I think part of it is he's not looking over his shoulder right now. And he knows he's going to be out there on the floor. That brings a sense of calmness and comfortability when you don't have to worry about, oh man, I might come out if I take too many bad shots or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I think that's helping him. You know what I mean? About the point, talking about the starting lineup thing.
I mean,
See, my only thing is, well, I guess we've seen him today with RJ and Randle and him on the floor. You know, I don't know. I guess we would just have to see it. My only worry is that all three of those guys can be real ball dominant. You know what I mean? And I guess that's my worry. Would there be just too much ball domination between the three and not enough ball movement? I don't know.
How much of an honest difference can you say it is between him and Burks playing that position potentially?
Well, that's true.
And then the same logic I think applies. Well, no, I think the difference is if you do switch him into that starting role, Burks goes back to a position where he thrives.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you get to look at Deuce a little bit more if he's.
That's true.
If you give him, you know what I mean, and Deuce doesn't necessarily have to handle it. Maybe you put the ball back in Burks' hand, but in the second unit.
Right.
So I think it could work. But Tibbs is Tibbs.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at him.
My only thing is when Burks is in the starting unit, he's not as ball dominant when he's in the starting unit. You know what I mean? He tries to initiate and facilitate a little bit more when he's in that starting unit, where Quickley is a little bit more like, I'm going for mine. But what it's doing right now with him putting pressure on the rim, it is opening it up on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is working right now.
And I think here's the difference too. I think Burks kind of needs to be ball dominant to be effective.
I agree.
But what he's doing in the starting unit, he's not being effective offensively. You know what I mean? So to maximize Burks, I think put the ball in his hand in the second unit where he could still have the ball, but he could look for his shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and you can make the same argument for Quickley. The difference is, I think Quickley has performed better at the position. You know what I mean? If you're comparing it.
No, I hear you. A quick question from Manchild. Any report on Mitch and Cam injuries? I don't think Mitchell Robinson was an injury.
Sickness.
I think it was just a sickness. And Cam, I haven't heard a report yet. I know, Tony texted me right after it happened and said it looked like maybe he separated his shoulder or dislocated his shoulder. And, that could be. I've seen several people say the same thing, about Cam. Obviously, it's something with his shoulder, but there hasn't been an official update as of yet.
Yeah, I tried to screenshot it, but I didn't catch it. I did highlight a few comments in there, if you find them.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
That's the one you just highlighted. Does it come up highlighted on yours, or no?
No, I don't. No. Which one you trying to put up there?
Somebody said they was afraid. They was afraid Randle's gonna get hot. And
I see it. Keith Turner. I'm just afraid Randle might actually get hot and save Tibbs' job. And RJ get hot and save Tibbs' job. It could happen. I mean, I don't think Tibbs was going to be fired anyway, but And
why can't they get hot because of Tibbs?
Right. You know what I mean? But yeah, with Cam, I hope that Cam is okay. You know what I mean? I really want to see. I want to see him out there on the floor. I love what he's able to produce when he's out there on the floor. Tonight, his numbers, he didn't do anything tonight. He only played.
He played defense.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see how many minutes Cam played 16 minutes tonight. He had 2 points. He had 2 points.
He played defense.
Obviously, he didn't get a chance to play much in the third quarter. Because of the injury. He did play defense. He played some good defense. His long arms allow him to really play some defense. Even when he's given space to a ball handler, he's able to play good defense. And I feel, I hope it's not one of these tough breaks for Cam. You know what I mean? Because it felt like he's getting comfortable, and then now you get an injury, and you got to go out.
That's been the story of this season. Like think about it. The stretches we've gone through of, and it's really a testament to this team. Like I'm kind of proud of them in a sense, because guys throughout the team have stayed ready, got the opportunity, perform. Like think of that stretch of COVID, and then we bring somebody up or in that wasn't playing, breakout game, COVID, they're out, bring somebody in, breakout game, COVID. You know what I mean? Like we did that for like 3 games in a row where consecutively the next guy up came in and performed. And there was some career moments in there at the time. Now granted, when you haven't played at all, everything's a career moment. But it was really some proud moments throughout the season. You talk about like Grimes coming in and filling in and like winning Tibbs' heart, if I could quote you. Like it's been great to see some of the development throughout the year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm seeing some people in the chat. I don't know if it's an official report or what, but some people say, I seen someone say he's out for the season. I seen someone say, a couple of weeks. I haven't seen anything official yet. I'll just say that. I haven't seen anything official. Hopefully he's not out for the remainder of the season, but, shoulder injury can be tough, and it can take a while for a shoulder injury to recover. You know what I mean? I just feel bad because it seemed like he was getting comfortable with, with what's going on out there on the floor.
And then when you think about how it happened, like a play that the coach is going to pat you on the back for a play, you know what I mean? Like a play that, like that might have even galvanized the team in a sense, because we was still down at that moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we was on our fight back at that moment. So, right. I mean,
what do you take of the Knicks basically doing opposite of what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks? Is it that? I mean, do you look at this and say, they've had enough, and right now it's just pride and heart that they're displaying out there on the floor for them to come back to what they did in the third, and they were down 20 at one point. And they win the game by 16. 37-point turnaround.
You said the tale of two halves. I was saying it's like the tale of two Knicks, because it's the exact opposite of who we were 2 games ago and going back. You know what I mean? As far as being down 20, coming back and winning the game.
Yeah. Hopefully this team is showing the grit that we've been waiting for all season long. Just that never die attitude that we've been hoping that they were going to show and bring back this season hasn't always been there. They've been playing well, right? They just haven't been able to close games. Well, they've played well and they've not played well, right? They play like a great team and they play like a terrible team. You know what I mean? And then can't close it. Now that, they've pulled out the last 2, they're showing some grit, they're showing some heart, they're showing some determination. Do you see this going over into Dallas?
I'll say this, Randle typically has played well in Dallas while on the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think with coming off a game where both of our stars have played well, I think this is going to be a great challenge, especially for RJ going up against Luka. At least I think that's going to be the matchup. it would be. That's what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I think we come out and play some expired basketball. I think we will need Mitch. Hopefully he's feeling better.
Maybe the same illness. Maybe Mitch has the same illness that Taj Gibson had.
Yeah. My concern, honestly, is if Cam and Mitch are like out, because again, we've been dealing with all types of circumstances all year long,
right?
And we kind of need, we need some firepower.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think if people didn't go out, I don't even know if a lot of our guys would have even gotten the opportunities they've gotten. You know what I mean?
That's true. Listen, the Dallas Mavericks, ladies and gentlemen, they're 40-25 on the season. They're 5th in the Western Conference. They've won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in the last 10 games. Playing good basketball. Playing really good basketball right now. They're battling the Utah Jazz for that 4th seed in the Western Conference. And you know what? They're not far behind the Golden State Warriors. They're not far behind the Memphis Grizzlies for the 2nd seed. Let's put it like that. They're 3.5 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies for the 2nd seed. The Phoenix Suns, they've run away with it. They're 51-13. The Memphis Grizzlies are 8 games behind the Phoenix Suns for that first place spot in all of the league, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe even though we should have won that Suns game, and maybe that inspired them as well. After it settled down and the bitter taste was out their mouth, and granted, they've been playing well without their two guys. You know what I mean? So it's a testament to that team that they're championship caliber. Because when you lose your 2 guys, you got to feel like you could still beat whomever.
Exactly.
But maybe that was like a good test for them, in a sense. They still got the best record, so.
Yeah, I mean, so the Dallas Mavericks, man, they're playing good basketball. It's going to be a battle, without a doubt. The Knicks, listen, they moved closer to that 10th seed because the Atlanta Hawks lost. They're 31-33. The New York Knicks are 27-38. Still a long road ahead. Really, really long road ahead. No doubt about it. So, yeah, Tony, I agree with you. It's got to be just one game at a time. You know what I mean? It's got to be one game at a time, and wherever the Knicks land, they just land, and then you rock with it from there. But at the moment, the Knicks are 4.5 games behind the Atlanta Hawks for that 10th spot.
You know it's crazy, Sam? We ended the season 16-4. Last year. Like how sick is that we talk about, what we talking about, and we actually ended the season 16-4 last year.
Hey, man. Hey, we said at the game preview, the Knicks win tonight. All they got to do is go 14-3 over the last 17 to get to that 500. See what they do against Dallas on when did they play Dallas? Wednesday?
Wednesday. Yep. Wednesday.
All right. And we finally get a regular time game. What time is that game?
8:30, I think.
8:30 or something like that.
I think it's 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30. Yep, 8:30. So we'll see what's going on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being on. It is 2:15 a.m. You guys are rocking with us. We really appreciate it. You know what I mean? Let's see what the Knicks can do. They're still trying to battle it out, and they're ravished with injuries. That's another thing. They're trying to battle it out, and they're ravished with injuries. Now Cam Reddish has gone down. Mitch Robinson, hopefully he's going to be better come that Dallas game.
Maybe Obi comes back and follows that trend of taking care of business when you get your opportunity. You know, he's had his ups and downs throughout the year, but you know, maybe it's time something clicks.
Yeah, we'll see what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up out of here. We appreciate your time. Go get some rest. I'm sure there's some people who's actually working overnight who are listening in. And, you know, we appreciate y'all. Please be safe if you're working overnight. Do your thing out there. You know, get that money. Do everything you got to do. No doubt about it. But, you know, I'm going to call it a night. Get me some rest, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, I appreciate you, brother. I know you got to get up early, you know what I mean, for work and all that and all of that. You know, so, you know, we're going to head out, folks. Be peaceful, be easy. Big shout out to Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley. And, yeah, we're out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.